Good morning. It is Thursday. I took off today to work on some stuff that I'll admit, I bit off probably a little more than I can chew, and kind of overwhelmed, but we'll share that later. So, it's Thursday morning, just a little after 8. We had a great rain yesterday. We have not had a good rain like that in several weeks. So I've come down to the garden just to kind of see what's going on. Pumpkins are becoming more visible. Not that I think there are more. I'm just able to see them now. Vines are starting to yellow. Some have started to die back good. I've got a lot of grass to tend to over in my fall sunflowers. I've already cut 4 fall sunflowers, and right now I see 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I see 4. They're a little earlier than I was expecting, but that's okay. You can't fight nature. I was kind of hoping that I had timed them just right. I've got a group coming on October 18th, so we're still several Saturdays away from that. And I was hoping to have sunflowers for them then. These may all bloom before then. Who knows? Anyway, I'm going to turn you around here, and we're going to walk through and just see what we're looking at, see if we're ready to start pulling this weekend. That was my goal, is to start doing some cutting. Probably won't cut my vines because I still have some that are in growth that are kind of still new on the vine. So I'm gonna let the vines play out as much as they want to, but I probably will start cutting this weekend. All right, so let's just take a gander and see what we can see. There are some obvious ones. These green, these jar heads, I think they're called, they kind of hide on you if you're not looking for them. And then those dark green ones right there, they'll hide on you too. Again, I'm a little torn. I'm just not sure that I'm seeing the amount of pumpkins that I think I should be seeing, based on the fact that 700 seeds went in the ground. 700 seeds went in the ground. Do they all germinate? No, of course not. But typically I can get more than 1 pumpkin per vine, and I haven't seen that as much this year. I don't know. Let me see. It's a little muddy. I don't want to disturb too much, but can y'all see that one right there? It is beautiful. It has a pink and green tint. It's gorgeous. I would love it if it would stay that way. I really am not sure what to expect out of it. Because I'm assuming it's a porcelain doll, and all my other porcelain dolls are majority pink. So I don't know if that green's going to fade out or not, but it is gorgeous. It's probably one of my prettiest pumpkins. I actually have a really great orange down here too. It's very similar to that orange right there, but it's a little bigger. That is a beautiful orange. These knotty warty ones haven't gotten quite as big as I wanted them to. They're actually looking more gourd-like, acorn pumpkin, you know what I'm saying? So right in here, I forget exactly, these are called like some kind of cheese pumpkin. They're not a porcelain doll. They are a pinkish tint, but they're more orangey pink. I think they're called some kind of something cheese, or I don't remember. And again, I don't plant my pumpkins all of one variety together, because honestly, that pumpkin right there, its beginning could very easily be over there. So it's kind of pointless to try to put your seeds in a certain row or things like that. Now, you could do them all by field. You could, you know, say, hey, I'm going to put all porcelain dolls in this field, or I'm going to put all the blue jar, whatever they're called. I said jar heads. I know that's a military term. I don't really know if that's what the pumpkins are called or not. I can't remember. I really think that's the only way you would get it to work. I kind of set this guy aside just because his vine died really early, and I wasn't sure what he was going to do, and he was a little soft, but I think he's going to be okay. He's hardened up now. He's just going to be one of my uglies, you know. And hey, sometimes the uglies sell better. But if you notice how many blooms I still have going on here. And you know, somebody said, hey, make sure you've got plenty of bees. And I do. I have great pollinators. So I don't think pollination has been the problem. I truly think it has been, we went through periods of no rain to when we did have one, it would be a flooding rain. So there were times, there's that pretty one right there. There were times that the pumpkins were extremely dry, and especially on this end down here, not so much up there, but on this end down here, there were times where they would stand in water, and we would come and we would dig trenches out and stuff like that. So, you know, not every year is going to be amazing. And I do hope that once we start pulling, we have, I don't have a number in mind as to how many I'd like to have. Oh, can y'all see that guy? Look how pretty he is right there. Oh, he's a big boy. He's beautiful. I don't have a number in mind as to how many I would like to have. And I'm going to have to go back and do some research to see an estimate on how many I had last year. Greg seems to think we do not have as many as we did last year, even though we planted more. He's estimating we may have, what did he tell me? Maybe a touch over 200. I don't really have a number in mind yet. I'm going to get a number together, though, because competition is good. So, yeah, we'll walk. I'm going to show you a few sunflowers, and then we'll walk over and check those other two. So here is a pro cut that is coming on a little early. It's a little short. I mean, it has a good stem. I think it would do okay. But I really like them to get a little taller and a little sturdier stem on them. Here's another one. It's got good petal lift. It's not fully open. And you kind of want to, this is a good stage of cutting. You could even start even earlier when the petals are still down some, because they will continue to lift in your vase after you cut it. And you'll actually get longer vase life because you cut it early. So this, I realize this looks a mess, and it is a mess. And it's hard to see, but this is my pro cuts. I think I have 3 rows of pro cuts, and some of them are still very low to the ground, and then some of them up there. I see a few more starting to open up. These are what I call regular guys. They're a variety of just regular old sunflowers, and then I've got supposedly some colors in here. And when I say regular, they're not designed for long vase life. They're gonna do fine, but there's a red. It's just that they don't do as well as something that has been I guess through science to maintain better vase life. So this looks like it's going to be another red. And again, it's over here in what I call the regulars. But I am supposed to have some coloreds over here in the regulars. Oh, this is supposed to be one of the teddy bears. But look how small it is. There's the ground. But it sure is pretty. So it's not going to get any bigger. So I'm probably going to cut this one today just to enjoy in the house. This is the teddy bear, and it's just called that because it's got a lot of layers. It's kind of fluffy. Here are just some regular guys. Let's see who else we see. That one over there is a kind of lemon. It's not as yellow as the last two, like a golden yellow. It's a little bit brighter yellow. Here's some more getting started. Again, they're not wimpy stems, but they're not this guy. Like, this guy is chest high on me. He's got a good sturdy stem, which again, it doesn't really matter because you're probably cutting them for a vase. You're probably gonna, cut them on down. You don't need it that tall. So here's another one. And it's got one coming on right behind it and one right beside it. Here are some smalls. Again, I don't know why these are blooming out such immature levels, but nobody ever claimed to be a professional at this house. We put things in the ground and we let it go. So looks like that is going to be it on ones I see with some color. Go back over here to the Pro Cuts because it looks like maybe I got two more opening up. Oh, I got to get down here and tend to some grass. So this is going to be another kind of a yellowy red, great fall color, and this one is also. Those stems look good. Again, they're not quite getting the height that I would like them to get, but they're just going to be cut for a vase, so it really doesn't matter. Here is a better look at that pink and green one I was telling you about. That's the bottom. The crying shame is that is the bottom. It's prettier on the bottom than it is on the top. So pretty. Here are some mini whites. I'll be honest, I'm not seeing as many miniatures as I had last year. And I know I planted them. I probably had 200 miniatures last year. So I'm not sure what's going on. Not sure. So Greg finally came through with the tractor and cleaned up where the Indian corn didn't make. We'd already cleaned up part of it, and cucumbers had replanted themselves, and I was still picking jalapenos and cayennes. But the pigweed, it had completely taken over, and it was dangerous to come out here because you were just scraping up your legs and scraping up your arms. So I said, okay, we're done with this. Clean it up. Now you can see we're going to have to come back through. You can already see some pigweed that has started back, even down there. I'm thinking I'll probably come through and do some spraying and then let him clean up again. And we're going to try to drag some of this trash out of here. Of course, it's far too muddy right now. But we've got to get control of this pigweed. I know a lot of it went to seed. I know it's in the ground. I've got to really do some research on how to get better control of that next year. And honestly, you would think having a husband that works for a chemical company could be able to tell me something. But, typically they say, oh my gosh, my crew would die if they just saw how many dove just got up out of the dove field. Crazy amounts. They won't believe me. Typically they say, you know, the teacher's kids are the dumbest, the police officer's kids are the worst, the preacher's kids are the worst. You know, the electrician, the janitor, the carpenter, the chores at his house are done last. So I guess if you work for a chemical company, you just, things out, the yard and the grass and the weeds at your house are out of control, and you're not bringing home anything to get a handle on this. All right, let's take a look at the zinnias. I did a deep cutting on zinnias last week. They were starting to lay over, fold over. You can see some of them still. I don't know if they're fighting for air. I don't know if they're fighting for sunlight. I don't know. So I came through and did a really deep cutting. A lot got sacrificed, but they weren't going to stand back up. So I came through and did a lot of deadheading. I did, let's see, eight small bud vases for a job and 2 large vases for a job. So I did a deep cutting for those and deadheading while I was out here. And I could probably take some in for the house, but I mean, you could come out here and deadhead every day, honestly. And you can see where we're losing a lot of color. It's starting to thin out. It is what, September 25th. So, you know, I know a lot of people have already cleaned up their fields. I'm just going to let them go, y'all. Just going to let them keep going until we get a frost or they're just not doing anything. I mean, you can see in this area, a lot of these had laid over onto the ground, so I just cut them. So that really thinned out this area a lot. And yeah, they're ugly on bottom, but they still got great green tops. They're still producing flowers. So I'm just going to let them keep going. I don't have any rules and regulations here. You know, it's my yard. It's my garden. I'll do what I want to. A lot of people say you need to go on and knock this out in case there's any disease or, you know, pest control that you need to get a handle on. I don't know. I'm just kind of a pick your battles, and they're still blooming. I'm still cutting. So, all right, you can see I have not picked up. I haven't picked up. This is stuff I cut. And you can see some more have laid over, probably a little wind and the rain yesterday or something. Deep cutting here. It's ugly. Yeah, it's ugly. This is not pretty anymore, you know. But they have flowers. I'm going to let them keep going. I came over and did some deep cutting in the amaranth. I got a lot of cleanup to do here. You can see that the lemon basil is starting to really get ugly. Let's see. Celosia is still doing so. A lot of weeds, a lot of grass. And then I've got the cinnamon basil back there. That still looks really good. And then we'll go check out these pumpkins. So this is the gourd patch. A variety of gourds. You're going to see like ones that look like acorn gourds. You're going to see ones that look like crooked neck squash. You're going to see uglies, knotties, and some that honestly just kind of, some that just look like pumpkins. Like that one just kind of looks like a pumpkin, small pumpkin, you know. There are some dark ones in there that's probably a little hard to see, but these, I have walked through a cobweb and it is all over me. This has definitely started thinning out. Earlier you couldn't really even see the ground. So, is that, oh my goodness, that one is huge. When I pull it, I'll make sure I show y'all that one. It actually looked like 2 have morphed together. So there are a variety of colors in here. There are dark greens, there are yellows, there are yellow greens, there are oranges, there are white ones. These actually look like, my husband said they look like they had paint spilled on them. So they're pretty cool. Pumpkins are not necessarily hard. Gourds are not necessarily hard to grow. You just need space for them to run. They need a lot of space to run. And you've got to be vigilant on checking your plants for eggs, for like squash bug eggs. And I'm honestly, I'm going to pat myself on the back this year. I made sure everybody stayed dusted. And I came out every day and checked leaves for eggs. And I tried to get those eggs off and destroy them as soon as I saw them. And while I have seen these guys, let me see if he may fly away before I can get to him. They're almost like stink bugs with really long legs. I think they're called like long-footed bug or something like that. And they will eat your leaves, and those are the very things that suck the life out of my tomatoes. Now, I have not found them sucking the life out of the vines like squash bugs do. They always tend to be hanging out on the leaves, and so I do believe they've probably eaten some holes in the leaves, but I haven't seen any great damage. So, you know, I haven't worried about them too much. Now, I did when they were on my tomatoes. I was very unhappy with them. But I haven't seen any squash bugs, which is kind of crazy because they were a huge problem for us right around the time last year that the pumpkins were just right at that, hey, we're almost ready point. And then they just started sucking the life out of the vines and drying the vines out a little prematurely. All right, so pumpkins, gourds, pumpkins, and on the other side, sunflowers, and back up to the zinnias. You know, I know that all this will be playing out really quickly, and we're already making plans for what next year looks like. Let me show y'all this before I turn around. I did some wildflowers back here, and they just, they did okay. They didn't do great. That actually looks like a zinnia coming up right there. I wanted them to just cover this. I really wanted this area to look like a wildflower field. It didn't. It just didn't do. I have no idea how these got back here. I don't know if this was in the wildflower pack. I have no clue. But they're here. We're going to let them hang out. Need to come clean this up off of the electric fence. I started the other day and my weed eater ran out of battery. Anyway. So we've already started talking and making some plans about next year. Do we want to expand? How do I want to do the flower beds differently? Are we going to keep the pumpkins in the same area? We did rotate the pumpkins this year, mainly because of the squash bugs. We thought, let's try a different location. We've talked about turning the fields to where they run long ways, like the flower fields, long ways instead of like this, which is how they are now. We have talked about, you know, people say, oh, it's only an acre. And we have right at an acre fenced in, the electric fence. And I'm going to tell you, it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to there. It's a long way up there. That goes past where the strawberries were, which I've started cleaning up the strawberries. I'm not going to clean them up completely because honestly, the plants look awesome. They really did a lot of growing under weeds. So I'm going to clean them up best I can, but I'm going to leave some of that just for coverage for winter. And hopefully those strawberries next year are going to do amazing things. we've talked about expanding the vegetable garden, maybe even taking on peas next year. The spacing between beds, because there were little beds that were honestly tight, and with the phone call interrupted, with the newer mower, under the belly mower under the tractor, it throws the grass like a regular mower would, where with the finishing mower it was just out the back. So I'm either looking to spread out my beds to where I'm not throwing grass in there, or getting a bag. And as much grass as we have, I have no idea how many times I'd be emptying the bag before I could actually get finished. So even though we haven't finished out this year, we're already making plans for spring, because honestly, y'all, that comes really quick. And you have to start really early. And then I start questioning, am I going to do anything in seed trays? I tried some last year. It's not who I am. And I know it's not hard. I know it's discipline. I know it's me. So I don't know. We'll see. Do I think my character or my discipline or anything like that is likely to change? Probably not. I forget about them. I overwater them. I'm not very patient. I don't really have space for seed trays to just be sitting around. I mean, I have a resale business also. My house is full of stuff to resell. Well, I think I found my cat. Look at this. I've been missing a cat for, I don't know, 3 days now. And my brother-in-law has been trying to catch a rabbit. We caught a cat. I actually don't know that this is my cat. This is not Mama Cat, because I've seen her this morning. This may be one of my cat's siblings. I'll know when I get it out and can investigate. Cat has been released. That was not my cat. So, if you don't know backstory, stray cat, Mama Cat, came last year and left us some presents. We kept a male and a female, had our female fixed. They are our cats. They're Millie and Milo. Mama Cat came back again this year and left another present. And she still hangs around along with one of her kittens. But I believe that cat, we have seen it before. It just shows up periodically. I do believe it is an original sibling of Millie and Milo. And it obviously got caught in the rabbit pen. I don't know how many days it's been down here. But on that note, I haven't seen Millie in a couple of days. And she is fixed, so I don't feel like she's out roaming. I don't know really what to expect as to where she is. Anyway, I've got a huge project on the patio. That's going to be a whole nother video. Just kind of wanted to show y'all what was going on since the rain, how things were looking, and maybe what the future looks like.